Finally, we managed to catch up with them. Hi, Elvis. Fine, and you, bro? Diane, I think, was saying that she did a comparison of the two hyena that just seen a kill on my dashboard. Doris in Maryland. Hello, Doris. First time I encountered painted dogs, painted wolves, wild dogs, African hunting dogs. I was only a couple of years old. It was in the 60s. Some people don't know how to turn their radios down. I was only a couple of years old, and it was in the Kruger National Park. I remember quite clearly we were watching impala and zebra and wildebeest and giraffe at a waterhole in Kruger with a few other cars, and the next minute pandemonium broke loose, and there was just impala running and everywhere, zebra and giraffe scattered, and oh boy, Elvis, you're just pushing them too much. Let's see if we can change position. Get a better view, perhaps. Because my Elvis has stopped over there. Oh boy. I guess an average Clancy about 10. No, maybe that's a bit much. I think it's maybe 5. It's hard to tell because sometimes you can have 10, 12 pups, and sometimes you can only have 5 or 6 pups. There is obviously a very high mortality rate as time moves on. The mortality rate is dependent on the number of dogs in the pack, because obviously with more dogs in the pack there's more meat to bring home for more pups to survive. Very difficult for a very small pack to successfully raise pups. Oh. Deborah in Arizona are the pups born with their ears standing up or flopped over like a German Shepherd. I'm guessing that it is with erect ears. Never seen pups that small. The pups that I've seen were probably already a few weeks old when we had a camera on the den. A place called Blue Canyon Conservancy. There was a 24-hour cam. It was one of our, like the waterhole cam. And I remember seeing them for the first time the day that we went live with that camera. It was quite amazing. The day we went live with the camera was the day they came out of the den, those pups. I think there were about 11 of them, if I'm not mistaken. But my guess is that they are born with their ears standing up. Brian reminding me that we do have server issues that are continuing at the moment for some people, where some have a good enough picture but some haven't. But we do have people working, or we do have technical staff dealing with the issue of a server problem. I'm hoping that we can maybe move a little bit, change our position slightly at some point. Unfortunately, at the moment, maybe they caught an impala. They don't really go for very large prey. They tend to mainly concentrate on impala and maybe nyala, kudu. Maybe not so much nyala. They'd be very lucky to come across nyala, just virtue of the fact that nyala's habitat pretty dense. And they'll probably take down small kudu. But generally it's impala, and with that, of course, a number of dogs will only get a small portion. It's probably one of the strangest things in that they're most likely one of the most efficient hunters. They're far more efficient than any of the cats, yet on a pound-for-pound basis, the amount of meat that they each get for the amount of energy output that they put out is probably one of the lowest. When you think about, let's say, a couple of lion killing a buffalo, how much meat there is per buffalo, or rather per lion, versus a pack of dogs eating an impala. It's only a couple of mouthfuls, so they do have to kill more frequently. But somehow it works for them. Somehow when they get into a trot, it's a very energy conscious method of running, or energy conserving method of running, when muscles are not being used too much. And on a trot they can last all day. John in Connecticut wants to know the lifespan, the longevity of wild dog. I think probably about 8 to 10 in the wild. I must check. Morning, Cindy. How many dogs are here? I haven't the faintest idea. I haven't been able to count. I don't know, Cindy. I'm hoping that they're going to get a little bit active. I think there were about 8 or so when we first arrived, but some of them are now so flat we can't even see them. And it's going to be time to move, try and get a better view of them. See if we can go around from the other side and have a look, because we can't really see anything from here now. One of the males. Something there to roll in that it was scenting. Maybe buffalo dung or elephant dung. I guess now I can move again. Try and get another view. That would be. Okay, signal's bad and I've got a better view now, the best view we've had all morning. 1, 2, 7, 8. Now I can see 8. 9. Now I can see 9. Could you try and pull the antenna a little closer to that pole? It might make just a brief. No, not working. Well, maybe just wrap it around once. Doesn't make any difference, Brian. Just 2 inches we. It's not good if I don't have the sight of the dogs where there's a good signal. You can't see any of them from here, so we've got to try and move. Unfortunately, this other vehicle isn't really giving us much of an opportunity to view them, so not much I can do about it at the moment. Otherwise I must just park right in front of them. It's just doing that, because I can't really talk to you much. Only the alpha pair can make the decision to move or to go somewhere. And quite often you'll get other dogs that start getting restless, they want to move, and when they get up there, they try and encourage the alpha pair to move, and then the alpha pair probably just, in the case of reverse psychology, go to lie down even longer. Sometimes lions do the same. Food chain, what hunts them. There's nothing that actively hunts wild dog other than humans, and their demise is largely due to the conflict between farmers and dogs. Dogs don't respect fences. Dogs go through fences, and they cover such vast areas, and of course farmers don't like them. They can get into domestic stock. So they've been exterminated over the last 200 or so years on a large scale all over Africa. But apart from humans, they have their natural enemies, which are other predators. Any of the other predators are in direct conflict with them because they're all feeding on the same thing. Things, rather. Leopard, I think, would have a bit of a hard time. Hyena, on the other hand, different matter entirely. And of course, if lion came across dogs, they would kill them. But for dogs, they generally are in a pack, and they can be quite a formidable force as a pack. They're also flat dogs.
The one dog looked like it had blood on its face.
Yeah?
Yeah.
do that, I don't know. Sorry, Brian, I didn't get that. Fall off after they're engorged. I don't think so, Ken. I think they're pretty much, once they latch on, they're there for. You know, it's something I've never really thought of. I suppose they do. I mean, they got to. This is quite a large male. Might be moved. Time for them to move. I wonder. And they're just going to lie down in a different spot. Another one in front of us. They're all over. Someone was saying the other day that this is a pack of 14, and I suppose I'm seeing a pup now that I didn't see earlier. So I'm guessing that maybe the 8 we saw were just some of the adults. And all we can really do is maybe wait and see if they're going to. So far, that's about as active as they've been. A little bit of head shaking. Wild dog aren't as much of a scavenger as hyena are, but in terms of hunting, they have a very, very similar hunting method. Their stamina is what I can hear a pup whining. In terms of stamina, they can run their prey down. They can hound their prey until their prey gets so tired that they can bring it down. Habits-wise, they do have somewhat or quite different lifestyles. Where hyena might live in a den most of their time, most of their lives. They always have a den. Wild dog will only have a den when they're breeding. With wild dog, there is an alpha pair, an alpha male, and then an alpha female, and it's the alpha pair who are the breeding pair, and the alpha male has some status within the pack, as opposed to hyena, which is purely a matriarchal society, and the males hold no status whatsoever. They're the lowest of the low. They want to eat. The breeding is different in that wild dog, as with dogs, produce multiple pups in a litter, as opposed to hyena, who only produce 2, maybe 3 youngsters at a time. Let's see if I can move forward for those pups. Looks like 2 or 3 of them trying to squeeze under a tree. Why they want to lie under the trees when it's overcast and they don't really need the shade, only they will know, I suppose. Can you see this one's face now? I must go forward a bit more.
I think a bit more.
Don't want to be too much in the way of quite a big male. He could be, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he is the alpha male of the pack, known as half-tail. There was a pack of dogs at home, at my place, while I was on leave. I didn't see them. A pack of 32 dogs, which is known as the Orphan pack, and I noticed yesterday on Kruger Sightings they posted a picture of that same pack on the Orphan Road near Orphan Gate. Now that's considerable distance from where my place is, up in the Umberbat part of the Timbavati. So they cover huge distances in a short amount of time. Okay, so he's gone deep into that big bush willow over there. These dogs are getting as deep into some of this vegetation as they can for whatever reason. Maybe they just to conceal themselves so that if something came along they could. It's not really their method of hunting. Well, maybe it's the weather. Maybe because it's cooled down somewhat. The same as this other little bush where the pups are. At least 2 or 3 of them, and you can't even see a nose. There. Somewhere in there are another 2 or 3 dogs. There's another big male there now, that one. There's a little bit of whining. It sounds like there's a little bit of activity happening. There's some encouraging of some of the adults to start getting active. Now suddenly their dogs crawling everywhere out of the bushes. Well, some of them are. Definitely more than 8. 3 there, 4, 5, 6, 7. Gosh. You might get a chance to see them in action now. It looks like they're getting up and shaking the head and shaking the ears. Good indication that it's time to maybe move along. There's a little. Where there were no dogs, suddenly Have stick, will play. Wanna play fetch, puppy dog? Now that little bit of activity, I don't know, that was probably just being a little bit spiteful. One male just, I don't know if it was a male or female, but he ran into that bush and he nipped her or him. And there was a bit of excitement, and then now they're just all lying down again. That's the drizzle.
Yeah.
Let's hope it stays as a very fine drizzle rather than... Uh-oh. No. Lying down again. Please don't rain. Looks like we might have to go. Another one hopping out of the bush. I think Brian said 8 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah. Uh-oh. Put my jersey over my earpiece. Right, we gotta go. And the dogs are gonna get active and we've gotta go. Unless we... Love to stay here. Now, of course, when everything's happening, bless you. Hello, pups. I should have the monkey out for a photo. I've got to go.